It is already time to do a Bible study in current events. It is what is day? The 21st day of September. Wow, how fast it goes by. I want to thank you for joining us today, and I do mean that. We're going to always start with current events, as you know. And in between today, we're going to, Phil Hudos going to give a 20-minute presentation on something we'll share with everybody. A bit of information that he's been working with for years. I'm excited to hear myself and be part of. But y'all hang in for that. Don't miss that, whatever you do. We're going to start, though, in current events like we always do. I want to read a verse out of the book of Proverbs, chapter 22. I want to read one verse out of there. And I want to make it understand that it pertains to the day of every age, every generation face situations they think are really drastic and dire, and they are, to them anyway. But I think even if the people who this past generation back in the, say, passed away in the last 40s and 50s, grew up in this country today, they could not believe what America's turned into, could they?
No.
Even the non-Christians couldn't believe it.
No, they couldn't believe it, no. So, I can say this, I think I can say truthfully, that no one in this nation ever faced what we're facing today as far as the chaos in this country. Am I telling the truth?
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot more on us in a lot of different ways than they ever thought about having. Didn't say any of it was good. Back during the war between the states, I'm sure people were concerned and their loved ones fighting on different things all over the country. And all these things, through the Depression and all these things, which are all man-made to profit the rich guys. We can prove that if you want to discuss sometime. But each generation has faced more and more evil in this country. Because judgment upon evil is calamity, which means more evil. And we certainly are seeing that. The insanity that's in this nation today, the confusion, the division, is absolutely unbelievable. Is it not?
Yeah.
Now, what I'm going to share with you, by the way, folks, all these news items are verifiable. If you don't believe me, look for yourself. I will never give you news that I could not prove to be true. That would make me a very unethical individual. But in Proverbs 22, verse 3, it says this: a prudent man, which means a wise man, a godly man, foreseeth the evil. They see it coming. They know it's coming in this country. And hideth himself. That means takes refuge. Who is our refuge?
Christ.
Jesus
Christ.
And should we not have enough common sense to provide for ourselves in time of trouble? Does he not give the ant wisdom to store up for the winter?
Mm-hmm.
Duh. Okay? So a wise man sees it coming. He hides himself in Christ, prepares himself physically, mentally for what's coming, and he takes a stand. But the simple pass on and are punished or destroyed. Now, I don't know if that's complicated or not. And I certainly I don't understand all the aspects of all this all the way around, but I know that I have tried by His grace and mercy to prepare myself by more faith in Him, by knowing His Word, by standing on His Word, and even physically preparing myself for what's coming.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't, He said we're simple,
Mm-hmm.
and destruction is coming.
This verse also reminds me of the verses on the 10 virgins.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You know, the 5 wise and the 5 not wise.
5 not wise. Mm-hmm. Some good news to start with. The number of abortions in the United States has fallen to the lowest since it became legal in 1973.
Good. Mm-hmm.
Now, it's sad that we're still doing it, but the numbers are going down. Okay, now I finally got to watch that movie Unplanned. Anybody seen that yet? Oh, wow. That'll bring tears to your eyes. You will. I want to try to get some copies for you all too. We can't copy it because it's copyrighted, and I want to do it to Abby Johnson at all because I want her to be able to make some money off of it. NASA finally admits that climate change occurs because it changes the Earth's solar orbit and not because SUVs and fossil fuels.
Amen.
NASA, flat out said it, but the space agency, for whatever reason, has chosen to let the man-made global warming hoax persist and spread to the detriment of human freedom. Do y'all know that yesterday millions of students all over the country walked out of the class for climate change?
Yeah.
But you notice there's all students, they was mind-washed, brainwashed.
Oh, they're totally brainwashed.
Totally.
Yeah.
But
It's all
see,
young.
why is this not on ABC News?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Climate has always
Because it's
changed.
not misinformation.
Never stays
There you
the
go.
same.
The Week magazine. After consulting with Vatican exorcists, the pastor of St. Edward's Catholic School in Tennessee had banned the whole Harry Potter books from the school library. I like that. I do. These books present magic as both good and evil, which is not true. the Reverend Daniel Rehill wrote to parents. He warned that the curses and the spells used in the books are actual curses and spells, and risk conjuring evil spirits into the presence of the person reading the text. No duh. Why do you think they put the movie out?
Really?
A Tennessee man is suing Popeyes, listen to this, for $5,000 for running out of chicken sandwiches.
Yeah. Oh, and there's some dumb lawyer doing it.
Greg Barr claims that he wasted countless time driving between Popeyes franchises searching for the elusive sandwich and has suffered mockery from friends. I can't get happy. I had this sandwich on my mind, Barr said. It just consumes me.
Maybe you should have eaten some spinach.
Oh my gosh. In Rio de Janeiro, no, it says gay superhero, but this, I put no perverted superheroes. The mayor of Rio de Janeiro ordered a police raid on the city's International Book Fair last week to seize copies of a Marvel comic that featured a kiss between two male superheroes. Books like this need to be packaged in black plastic and sealed, said Mayor Marcelo Chavera, an evangelical Christian who proclaimed he wanted to defend the family. Good
Amen.
for him. Good for him. True heroism is remarkably sober, very undramatic. It is not the urge to surpass all others at whatever cost, but the urge to serve others at whatever cost.
Amen.
Isn't that good? Didn't Christ say the same thing? Now this I heard on Channel 4 News back before, when it was still ABC, WRUI, that we lost, in West Virginia, we lost 40% of our birds. This has been 20 years ago, probably 15 years ago. We lost 20% of our bird population. They finally admitted that the Canada U.S. has lost 3 billion birds since 1970. So the common ones you used to see all the time, like the red-winged blackbird, and all of them are just disappeared. And do you remember the morning, whippoorwills?
Mm-hmm.
They're about all gone.
Been a long time since I heard of whippoorwill.
I mean, they used to be thick, but they finally made it. And of course, they blame it on climate change.
Pesticides.
It's pesticide, it's 4G, it's 5G. All of these things mess up birds' minds. And spraying the chemicals in the air, our lungs take it for a while, but little bitty bird lungs can't take that very long. They're dying. Burger King, oh bless their hearts, takes the ham out of hamburgers so as not to offend Muslims.
Yeah.
I never knew there was ham in
No, there's no ham. It's a name of it. It's a name, ham. They won't call them burgers, not hamburgers. But offend Muslims.
On fat burgers.
Tell you what, this is America today.
Bunch of imbeciles.
Feelings.
Childish.
Governor of California signs a bill permitting citizens to ignore police calling for help.
What?
Yeah, cops yell for help in California, you ain't got to help them.
Oh my goodness.
This is what we face today. This is really what America's all about.
You got a recall petition now for him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they ought to have a jail
They
petition.
advertise it on One American News every day. Sign your recall petition. Wouldn't you like to think that the character of people in this country would go to anybody's aid if it needed, no matter who it was? Yeah.
Right.
Would I think, yeah.
I mean, I would, even if it was a sodomite.
Oh, I would help them, yeah, talk about a witness. And 22 surveys was proved that Americans never want to go back the way it used to be in America. I'm not going to read them all, but here's some things that's proven. According to the American Bar Association survey, only 30% of all Americans know that the U.S. Constitution is the highest law of the land.
Mm-hmm.
And that they don't know it. Of course, we know the Bible actually, but they don't even know the Constitution exists anymore. According to a new survey that was conducted by researchers at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, 76% of Americans support red flag gun laws. I don't believe that, but
Yeah, I read something like that.
A recent Rasmussen survey discovered that 28% of all Democrats actually believe it should be illegal to be a member of the NRA. 70% of Americans support medical care for all, a national socialized single-payer healthcare system. When asked to name the greatest president in their lifetimes, more Americans named Barack Obama than anyone else by a wide margin. Almost 1/3 of all U.S. millennials are still living with their parents, or the parents are raising their grandchildren. One very alarming survey found that the average American spends 86 hours a month on a cell phone, and I know that's true.
That's true.
49% of Americans say that not having Wi-Fi would ruin their vacation. Over the last 3 decades, the number of Americans with no religion has increased by 266%.
Actually, that's wrong because they all have a
They
religion.
have a religion, they don't
That's
count.
right.
Only 26% of Americans can name 3 branches of government. One very shocking survey found that 74% of Americans don't even know how many amendments are in the Bill of Rights.
Well, that's a depend because either it's 10 or 28.
Well, Bill of Rights
Bill of
actually
Rights.
is the first 10.
Yeah.
That's the first 10. That's
Then
all.
there's the amendment.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other amendment.
George Washington, John Adams, and the rest of the boys were around. If they were around today, they would all be considered dangerous extremists, and none of them would have a prayer of actually getting elected to office. Ain't that the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Now, some financial things. Now, listen to this. $21 trillion is missing from the U.S. government. That's as much or more than the national debt, which works up to $65,000 per person in America. But somehow or another, there's $21 trillion they can't find. 21 trillion.
I don't have it.
Well, I ain't got 65,000 even, so, you know. I mean, but it is ridiculous, but the Constitution, Article 1, Section 9, Clause 7 says, no money shall be drawn from the Treasury, but in consequence of appropriation made by law, an irregular statement and count of receipts and expenditures of all public money shall be published from time to time. How long has it been since it's done that? Most of a lot was lost through HUD, Housing and Urban Development. Now, more economic news. In 2019, they closed more stores in 2019 thus far this year than they did all 2018. But here's some stores that closed. Charlotte Rousseau, that's a women's fashion store, closed 512 stores. Gymboree, I've heard that story. Store closed 945. There's just a few of them. Shopco, 367. Things Remembered, 419. And Payless Shoe Stores, 2,500. Close stores shut. Think about that. 2,500. And how many people work those stores are not working?
Right.
How many?
And how many of them are not spending money in the community to support those
Of course.
stores?
See, that's the point. It just isn't one guy at work. It's people that he bought from around the area also been down business.
Yeah. Well, a recession is when I'm out of, when you're out of work. A depression is when I'm out
Out
of
of
work.
work. In order to pay down their national debt, you would have to combine the GDP of China, Japan, and India. The United States owes $68,400 per citizen. The United States owes $183,000 per taxpayer. The United States currently has $125 trillion in unfunded liabilities.
And the borrower is a slave to the lender, so who's lending the money?
That's exactly what they're printing. Right now, the Fed's printing $75 billion a day, every day, to October to put back the economy, keep it going. In you say something?
Yeah, I showed him constitutional money at school the other day, and I pulled out a bill and I said, they call this a $5 bill, but I said, what do your parents say when they get bills in the mail? It's a debt instrument, you know
It
what I
is,
mean?
yes, it
But
is.
yeah, when you say $1 bill, that means $1 debt,
Debt.
not $1. So in a way, it's true. It is $1 bill, but it is not $1.
It is not a dollar.
Yeah, there you go.
And the debt keeps going as long as we keep passing that dollar bill to the next person.
Is that why
The
you
debt
got the
keeps
coins
going.
up there?
I'm actually going to use them later. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
By the way, if you want to borrow the silver dollar again, let me know. You're welcome to do that. Use a $100
borrow
bill to
them?
show. Yeah, to show.
I can't have them.
Like that back, we don't mind.
How
give me
many
the
of them
money.
is it? 100?
You only gave me that money that's laying here beside of me this morning.
In 2008, interest on the federal debt was $253 billion. Interest for fiscal year 2019 is 89% higher. For fiscal year 2019, interest alone on federal debt was $479 billion. In 1979, the total federal debt was $463 billion. Think about
Wow.
this. In the year 2000, the federal debt was $5.67 trillion. In 2019, it's 297% higher.
Oh my.
At Forbes, Jim Powell writes that the old New Deal cost about $50 billion from 1933 to 1940, whereas the future cost of New Deal programs will, in effect, be reckoned more at $50 trillion. Are you hearing this?
I read an article that actually it's up to 200 trillion.
Oh, I'm sure they can't disclose it all. According to the Center of Budget and Policy Priorities, roughly 24% of federal spending goes to Social Security, 26% goes to federal health insurance programs, 9% to safety net programs, only 2% to transportation infrastructure.
So,
Yep.
so you're saying the government's got to borrow money to pay Social Security?
Absolutely. Yeah,
They're supposed to take that money and put it up for
They're
us.
taking young people's money to pay us right now. That's what they're doing.
They need to keep a finger out of
It would take the United States, now listen to this, would take the U.S. 713,470 years to pay down the national debt if we paid $1 per second of the year. You hear what I said?
And they can't print it that fast.
Almost over 713,000 years to pay it back a dollar a second.
Well, then don't hold your breath.
There you go. Modern presidents have doubled the national debt every 9 years. We are a debt system. If we can't do debt, we won't exist. You understand that? Now here's the problem I didn't know. Researchers blame marriage rate decline, now pay attention, on a lack of economically unattractive men. I'm serious.
I wonder why Kelly married me.
That's the truth. I'm not making
Maybe
it
she's
up. They
unattractive.
can't find anyone economically attractive, so they don't get married. Oh well.
Well, what's the difference? They shack up, they just want to marry and they're getting the same package.
Well, I know, but they're getting more benefits than single. Trump unveils the highest sanctions ever imposed on the country. Trump just put new sanctions on Iran, the highest ever imposed on the country. So I don't know what that's going to mean. He said last night he's not going to attack them, so I don't know what's happening there.
I
just know
they're,
that the sanctions,
they're holding back
yeah,
a serious.
sanctions really are an act of war.
Yep.
Yeah,
We'll
and
see.
then once that
I
happens,
mean, he's an emperor.
the other two around,
Emperor.
or three if you include India.
A new law signed by Governor Gavin of California bans schools from suspending disruptive children. From kindergarten through 12th grade, you cannot ban them from school. You can't suspend them for any reason.
I take them in the office and paddle their hind end and send them back to class.
They can't suspend them. Now my question is, how about the students that really want to learn? They're disrupting them. Where's their rights?
I got expelled from school for justifiable reasons.
Destruction by design.
Exactly.
Yep.
This map shows the cities where 5G cell towers are being rolled out. And believe me, 5G, and I've been studying this a little bit, is a dangerous level. 4G is bad. But these are some of the cities here, and the closest one to us really, I guess, would be Louisville, Cincinnati, and Washington, D.C. But these are the cities around the country where it's being rolled out now and put in place. And 5G cannot cover the territory without being reboosted, repowered on shorter segments. Like you can't put a tower like miles apart. That'd be one and one here, and that's why they're going to do it from house to house.
Every fifth building.
Every
Yeah.
500 feet.
Yep.
You want to fry our brains.
Now, some years ago, Phil, Dick, and I made a stand about driver's license. DMVs are selling your data to private investigators.
Oh my.
Well, I won't leave the state.
The Department of Motor Vehicles in states around the country are taking driver's license personal info and selling it to thousands of businesses, including private investigators who spy on people for a profit, Motherboard has learned. DMVs sell the data for an array of approved purposes, such as to insurance or tow companies, but some of them have sold to more nefarious businesses as well. Multiple states have made tens of millions of years selling data. Data, you understand what that says? They own you.
Yep.
Motherboards obtain hundreds of pages of documents from DMV through public records requests that lay out the practice. Members of the public may not be aware that when they provide their name, address, and in some cases other personal information to DMV for the purpose of getting a driver's license or registering a vehicle, the DMV often turns around and offers that information for sale. Many of the private investigators that DMV has sold data to explicitly advertise that they will surveil spouses to see if they're cheating.
And an international criminal database.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Interpol.
AI, you want artificial intelligence, are making synthetic brains that will allow humans to be in 500 places at once. I'm too tired for that. But anyway, the man behind Amazon's voice assistant believes we won't have to know the difference between human and AI. AI-powered synthetic brains will allow humans to operate 500 versions of themselves at once, according to the man behind Amazon's voice assistant. Igor Jekalov believes artificial intelligence will become so advanced, and pay attention, that we'll be unable to distinguish between a real or synthetic mind.
Wait a minute. I remember Igor. He was in that movie Frankenstein. Was he not?
With the humpback?
Yeah, with
I
Igor.
remember him, yeah. But you won't be able to tell the difference between real and fake.
And the saddest thing about that, it goes back to Revelation chapter 13. I can't remember exactly what verse it was, but it talked about the beast and how he was created. That's the AI.
Oh yeah, it is. It has to be, Joe, to fulfill that prophecy. State chairman wearing real ID will shock air travelers. As of October 2020, if you don't have the federal ID card with the star on it, you can't board planes, you can't go in federal buildings, nothing to do with federal government.
So if you're going to a courthouse to be a witness and you don't have that federal ID?
If it's federal, and it can be a state courthouse.
Oh, okay.
But you won't be able to go in federal buildings or go into airports to get on a plane, anything, without the new federal ID.
2020.
October 2020. Now this I'm not making up, I'm just really not. Smart faucets and toilets use Alexa to listen to your conversations.
What does?
Oh my golly.
Smart faucets and toilets use Alexa. That's that little round box you buy, you speak to and it'll tell you what's going on, you know, and hook up the house and the internet. They listen to your conversations. They come out now with a Delta faucet and Kohler, both about the faucet. You walk in the bathroom and say, warm water please, it turns on by itself.
Mm-hmm.
It does all that.
So now you say flush?
And yeah, you can talk to the commode.
Royal flush?
What? That depends where the king or queen are. But anyway, it's called Voice IQ. And it will listen to everything you're saying in the bathroom or whatever. Now, folks, just get this point out of the way. If you have any of this stuff in your house, you've listened to already. They're already monitoring you. And that's been proven. They're monitoring you.
Mhm.
Okay? Even a TV set, you see that now I have this remote you speak into and change channels. That's all part of the same system. If you get that in your home, as a matter of fact, your cell phones are monitoring you 24/7. Your house phones monitor you. They can listen to a hardline phone anytime they want to. And anything you say on the phone is being tape recorded, and they listen to it later to see if they see anything bad in it that you may see, like bomb or murder or whatever.
Well, Donald Trump's had a little dilemma right now about with NSA
Yeah.
because the contract is coming up soon and they're going to make a decision if they continue on as considered monitoring or not. And Donald Trump's got to make a decision on that.
Now listen to this. Whole Foods goes full Mark the Beast with hand scan payment system. This is from natural news and a very, very reliable source. Amazon Foods, aka Whole Foods Market, is launching a new point-of-sale system that involves scanning the physical hands of customers in order to collect payment from them. Reminiscent of the Mark the Beast spoken about in the Bible, this new flesh and blood ID technology will reportedly use vision and depth geometry biometrics to process transactions based on the shapes and sizes of customers' hands. Once a customer's hand is linked up to his or her credit card on file, he or she will be able to walk right out of the Whole Foods with a cart full of groceries without ever having to handle cash or cards, making the transaction entirely cashless.
Whole surveillance.
You
Call
know-
it whole surveillance instead of Whole
There you go.
Foods.
And believe me, soon you'll walk out with your facial scan paperwork. Wait and see.
It'll come.
You know, and there was a time this would have got people all upset and all frustrated. Not anymore. It's convenient. It's handy. People right now, they got new cell phones out. I have no idea what they call them. Brand new phones. They're like $1,000 a piece, and people are in line waiting for them.
Can't wait to spend their money.
AI experts say we're summoning robot entities who will treat us like ants. AI expert Geordie Rose, Geordie, Georgie Rose says that tech developers are summoning entities into existence which will have the same indifference to humans as we have towards ants. They're not going to be like us. They're going to be aliens. They're going to be way smarter than every single person in this room in ways we can't even comprehend. He then mentioned Elon Musk's concerns about artificial intelligence taking over humanity, but cautioned that the word demons doesn't even capture the true scope of what will happen. Rose then cited H.P. Lovecraft's concept of cosmic indifference, where the universe is occupied by entities who don't give a about you even in the slightest. The same way that you don't care about an ant, in the same way that they're not going to care about you, said Rose. We want to say that these things were summoned into the world right now, are more like the Lovecraftian, the great old ones. There's entities that are necessarily going to be aligned with what we want, aren't necessarily, are not going to be. Rose said that this massive transformation was happening in the background while people were distracted bickering about politics. As we have exhaustively explained, the elite plans to fuse with AI to create this singularity while the masses will be left behind as a slave class or, according to some, exterminated completely. You know, Folks, we've been talking about this at our Bible studies and sermons now for
20-some years.
20, 25 years. And what we talked about back then was still future, now it's happening. Scientists developed handheld sonic weapons for crowd control. I say scientists, Chinese. Chinese have finally made a rifle-shaped instrument which they point at you with low-frequency waves can make you, depending on your exposure, can cause dizziness, headaches, vomiting, bowel spasms, involuntary defecation, organ damage, and heart attacks. It's the size of a rifle. But they would never use it on us, would they?
Mm-mm.
New Zealanders face 5 years in jail for not handing in banned firearms. Following the ban on virtually all semi-automatic weapons, firearms, New Zealanders face 5 years in jail if they refuse to hand them in. A French 24 report on the government's new buyback scheme showed a line of gun owners willfully giving up their guns in response to the Christchurch massacre earlier this year. Of course, that's ARs, anything semi-automatic, any kind of semi-automatic. 22 shotguns, you don't turn them in New Zealand, you get 5 years in jail. And I guarantee you, when that becomes law here, and it's going to, the masses will turn them in.
Mm-hmm.
They say they won't.
They will.
I know that for a fact when the militia was involved in.
Yep.
I saw
Sunshine
that.
Patriots.
Chief executives of 145 companies urged Senate to pass gun control laws. CEOs of Uber, Levi Strauss, and Gap are some of the ones who said we need to pass more gun control laws.
Protect themselves.
USSA government asked Apple and Google to hand over info on gun owners. You ever see it? Apple and Google. They asked the authoritarian dystopian future had been here for a while now, but this is simply more evidence of humanity's disregard for freedom and independence. The United States government had demanded private corporations supposedly, right? That Apple and Google, who are both politically biased towards the left, hand over information they have on gun owners in the USSA. The U.S. government is asking Apple and Google to hand over information on gun owners who have scoping rifles and use an app called Obsidian 4. Obsidian 4 app allows gun owners to get a live stream, take video, and calibrate the gun scope from the Android or iPhone device. Sound like bad guys to me. Did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I said? Does anybody give a hoot? Beto demands banks and credit card companies cut off firearm sales to law-abiding citizens. Democratic president's candidate and former Texas Congressman Beto O'Rourke speaks at the service anyway. He said, "You're damn right. We're going to come take your AKs, and ARs." He said that. Now he's demanding that banks and credit card companies cut off firearm sales to law-abiding citizens. I, for one, am getting a little ticked. I don't care who knows.
Did you read about the lady out of Wrightville, Colorado? She was 5 foot tall, weighed 100 pounds. She had 4 kids and said, "I'm too little to use my fist." And she ran a restaurant there, and all the waitresses carry sidearms.
Oh,
And
yeah, I
she went
did
to
see
his town meeting, and she said, "You're damned, you're getting my guns."
Yeah, good for her. More states allowing gun seizures amid plague of mass shooting. But opposition from interests that have thwarted prior gun control efforts remains strong. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine has endorsed several gun control proposals, including the red flag background check plans, but faces resistance from gun rights advocates and his fellow Republicans in the state legislature. The Ohio governor, a Republican trying to push gun control proposals through the legislature, where the GOP holds super majorities in both chambers, is trying to get this done. So no one said this is going to be particularly easy, DeWine says. So they are, in Ohio, trying to pass gun seizure law. That's what red flag law is.
Yeah.
Gun seizure law.
That's all it is.
But we've had red flag laws for years. Look at CPS. All someone's got to say is a little room or two, CPS,
Oh, yeah.
and they come and take your children home. So they've been in existence for a while, just in other ways.
Democrats want to buy back Americans' guns. What would that cost and who would pay for it? You can't buy back something that you never owned. Those are not their guns. They're my guns.
Yeah.
That's part of the problem with the Democrats' plan, now endorsed by yet another candidate for the party's nomination for president, to buy back Americans' guns. Former California Attorney General Kamala Harris announced her support for this radical plan Monday during an appearance on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Fallon. Towards the end of the interview, she took questions from the audience made up of mostly college students. One of them had pressed Harris about her stance on guns. Do you believe in the mandatory buyback of quote-unquote assault weapons? And whether or not you do, how does this idea not go against fundamentally the Second Amendment right? A buyback program is a good idea. Now we need to do it the right way. And part of that has to be, buy back and give people their value, the financial value of what they have, and not just take things from people that value them without compensating them. We need to do it in the right way.
They don't
Aren't
have
they
enough
sweet?
money to buy mine.
That's sweet of them, isn't it?
It is beat up. Colt suspends production of AR-15 for civilian market. I'm there buy another Colt gun. I wrote a letter by the way too. Gun maker Colt says it is suspending the production of rifles for the civilian market, including the popular AR-15. Coach Chief Executive Dennis Velux says it is not permanently ending the production, but believes there is already an adequate supply of sporting rifles in the market. He said in a statement Thursday the company will concentrate on fulfilling the military and law enforcement contracts with its rifle manufacturer. In other words, you don't need no more people. We're not gonna
But the
send
government can get all the
they want
money.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the M16s and M15s.
He said he believes in the Second Amendment, but he's going to quit manufacturing guns for civilians.
Sad Colt's the only one made man equal.
Yeah. Well, they'll not. I don't believe it. I want to back them buy more guns from them.
It's like a free speech zone. And,
Oh, yeah.
That's real free speech, isn't it? When
Oh,
you got
yeah,
a free
absolutely.
speech zone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, makes sense.
Instagram now banning photos of people at gun ranges claiming they promote violence. Are we hearing this? Is this America?
Mm-mm.
In 1990, when I first started on radio back in 1993, I read an article on air one time about thought police. I thought, how can they make this work about thought police? It's here. It's here. Everything is so politically correct that you gotta be careful what you say. You saw the head of Canada, what's his name?
Well, it used to be
Trudeau, still Trudeau. His son's in there now. Back in the 80s or so, dressed up as
Blackface.
a black but he was supposed to be in Muhammad or somebody like
It was
that.
in play.
Yeah, he's a play. He had a black face, and they're on him like fleas on a dog.
Well, wouldn't a black woman dye her hair blonde? Wouldn't that be the same issue?
You would think so, wouldn't you? But anyway, now if you have a picture posted on Instagram, they'll ban it. Maybe at a firing range. You hear about this boy in Colorado who was kicked out of school for going to the firing range with
Yes.
his appearance.
Yeah.
Gun stores run out of Beto Spatial, named after gun grabbing communist. I like this. A gun store in Arizona has run out of both the AR-15 and AK-47s. By the way, I'll say this publicly, I have both. And they're ready. As a guy from Texas said, come and get them. But I'll say this too. I guarantee you that panty-waisted pimp named O'Rourke won't come and get himself. He'll send a SWAT team in, but he's a gutless, spineless wonder that's got armed guard protecting him, but he wants to take my guns.
And they got AR-15s.
Oh yeah. Am I telling the truth, I feel?
Yes, you are.
Absolutely 1,000%.
He's a piece of trash. The gun sale, oh, you just judged. Yeah, we're going to do it right well. I did, and I don't apologize. Not even that much I apologize. Do you apologize for that?
No.
The gun sales response to threats made by communist Beto O'Rourke, who said, hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. Well, they're not with me today, but this one is. It's got 30 shots in it, and it'll start to hit. Much like totalitarians and communists before him, O'Rourke has threatened to use force, can't find the holster now, and violence to disarm American innocent people to accumulate guns in the hands of those in the government. History has an uncanny way of repeating itself, and humanity never seems to learn the hard lessons. And that's the truth. One generation forgets the last generation's lessons. Barack Obama used to be a great gun salesman, but it appears that upping the commie ante has propelled O'Rourke past the former president. But free people who reject authority over their lives took action. Alpha Dog Farms owner Matt Boggs was outraged after O'Rourke's threat. In an interview with the Whole Odette, Boggs said, I saw the comments that he made, and I was like, you know what? The hell with this guy. Boggs said O'Rourke's threats of theft and violence against innocent people made him determined to sell more guns even if it meant losing money on them. God bless this man.
You don't back up.
Democrats are really good sales agents.
Oh, they are.
Yeah. Obama was really good just by himself, but now the Democrats have proven to be very good. I mean, they're competing with Obama. How many guns they can sell?
The last several elections have scared me. Concerned me, I should say. And this one's worse than the rest of them. I mean, this is bad. All the Democrats are totally, I mean, I'm not bragging on Bush, I mean Trump, but the Democrats are totally out there. Georgia homeowner used a semi-automatic rifle to return fire against 3 masked attackers. But you don't hear this in the news, do you?
No.
You don't hear about that. A Georgia homeowner returned fire against 3 would-be robbers early Monday morning, killing all 3. 2 16-year-olds and a 15-year-old boy reportedly covered their faces and approached a Conyers, Georgia resident about 4 a.m. Monday morning, according to the Rockdale County Sheriff's Office. The homeowner was outside with another man and a woman with him as residents when one of the would-be robbers took out a gun and began firing. The homeowner shot back. Victims of the attempted robbery were all uninjured, but the 3 attempted robbery suspects were all shot during the exchange of gunfire and succumbed to their injuries, 1 on scene and 2 in the local hospital after being transported. The Sheriff's Department said that no charges are being filed against the man. He just defended himself with an AR-15, by the way.
You know, you once rated Trump as a D, which you
Yeah.
graduate with D's. But I'd rate the Democrats as all F, and they ain't gonna graduate.
Oh, they're F minus. Ted Cruz told Chicago mayor, "We need criminal control, not gun control."
That's right.
Good for Ted Cruz.
Good.
Senator Ted Cruz, Texas, used his tweet on Wednesday to tell Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, Democrat, that her city is lacking criminal control rather than gun control. Cruz's tweet comes after he used the Chicago to show that gun control does not work. On Monday, September 2nd, he said all that and said the gun control doesn't work. Look at Chicago. Disarming law-abiding citizens is the answer. Stopping violent criminals, prosecuting and getting them off the street before they commit more violent crimes. The most effective way to reduce murder rates. Let's protect our citizens. Lightfoot responded by claiming gun laws in rich states armed Chicago criminals. She told Cruz, "Keep our name out of your mouth." The next day, Lightfoot again blamed Republicans equating the defense of the Second Amendment with an unwillingness to protect constituents. She offered to explain the root cause of gun violence to Cruz if he wanted to come to Chicago. Cruz responded by tweeting, "Mayor, the most significant root cause is that criminals have all the guns." Duh. One place to start is not releasing back to the public, but rather locking up violent repeat offenders before they murder again. Cruz's point that it is time for criminal control, not gun control.
The death penalty.
I agree.
Don't lock them up.
No, I don't want to keep Mr. Light.
No.
Here's somebody let put him to death. Left-wingers excited to sign a petition protecting eagles, but they will not sign a petition to save unborn babies.
That's true.
That's sad. How Mexican cartels girl assassins bathe in the blood, I know folks, this is for real, of their victims and have sex with their corpses.
I hope they got AIDS.
With red hair, I'll show you a picture while I'm doing this. With red hair flung over her shoulders, pretty Juanita, looks like any other young woman in her 20s apart from the fact she's holding a machine gun. Though she may have an innocent face, Wanda is actually one of the world's most dangerous women, a bloodthirsty assassin who murdered 5 men and then drank their warm blood before having sex with their decapitated bodies.
Oh, gee.
Oh. She's full of demons.
Now that'd be a woman you wouldn't want to date or marry.
Wanda, known as La Pique, or Little One, is one of the growing numbers of female assassins involved in Mexico's brutal drug wars, which have seen 115,000 people die between 2008 and 2018. Known as Sicaris, meaning hit women, these deadly killers use their good looks to charm the victim before murdering them in cold blood. Girls as young as 7 are kidnapped or forcibly taken from their parents by drug lords and trained to kill, while others are lured in by a glamorous lifestyle followed by the millionaire drug traffickers.
Oh.
Do you know this is going on in America too?
No doubt. They still have open doors.
Child trafficking is everywhere. Morticians preserve tattooing skin of dead loved ones as artwork.
I've heard that.
Michael Sherwood and his son Kyle have spent years developing a special process that preserves a person's skin and the tattoos on it after they die. They say they come up with the idea over some drinks with friends. I've had some drinks. One friend who recently lost his father and told the pair he wanted his father's tattoos preserved. They laughed it off at first, but the friend's persistence got them thinking. With the art in tattoos and how much they mean to people, why not keep them after they die? Cal said. People put ashes in urns on mantles and visit stones with their loved ones' names on them. Why not keep their tattoos on their skin? That's what
Or hide.
Make a lampshade out of it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or just go to a taxidermy.
I don't know how to even feel. I'm not making this stuff up.
I know you're not.
America's first gay homosexual credit union gets green light from Michigan. Only homosexuals can do business there. Now, what if he said we want to go up straight?
Mhm.
Do lesbian, homosexual, bisexual, transgender people need a bank of their own? So, Superbia, Superbia, Superbia credit union is about to find out. Michigan Money approved the charter for the new financial institution designed for LGBT customers, clearing the way for online service to begin in 2020. Superior Credit Union will offer products which are often outside the scope of more traditional lenders, such as loans for transgender people in the process of transitioning, says Miles Myers, founder of the New York-based Superior Supers Incorporated, which created a credit union. I could walk into the bank or credit union and apply for a loan or credit card or savings account, and frankly, no problem, said Myers. If I walked into the same institution with my husband, we can come across different responses and welcomes. And this is where it all starts to change for the community. This Burbank can walk in with his husband and get a loan, and if he wants text changes, no problem.
And yet, we can't bake, we refuse to bake a cake
No.
for them, we go to prison.
It's true. I graduated high school back in 1966. There's no way my mind could have conceived this.
So what if a straight person went in there?
They're not supposed to wait on like they do queers. The queers get priorities.
They get denied service.
Despite, now listen to this, Trump is a good man. He's a Christian. Ever heard that?
Yeah.
He's definitely not a Christian.
Despite turning down an inauguration gig, Elton John has a recurring role in Trump's presidency. Elton John, a flaming sodomite dog. He asked to perform at Donald J. Trump's inauguration. Elton John politely declined, saying that as a British citizen, he did not feel it appropriate to play at an inauguration of the American president. Thank you so much for the extremely kind invitation to play at your inauguration, wrote one of President Trump's favorite musicians, Sir Elton John. I have given it a lot of thought, and as a British national, I don't feel that's appropriate for me to play at an inauguration of an American president. Please accept my apologies. Mr. Trump had been hoping Mr. John would croon him into the presidency. He had gone so far as to tell people it was happening, even though Mr. John had not yet agreed to his set performance. Y'all remember back when Nixon or Reagan said he didn't want the Beach Boys, not the Beach Boys there?
Yeah, it was Beach Boys.
They didn't, because they weren't appropriate for the American people, and the people went crazy over that. Remember that?
Well, the Beach Boys was an American institution.
What? You did not address him right.
Oh, Sir Elton John.
Sir Elton John, he was knighted by the what do you call them? What do you call the nobility over there? I mean, they are low life. They're actually low life.
Yeah,
They're
royalty, I don't know what you call
not, yeah,
them.
well, no.
They are, no one knows what, I mean, no one believes what they're involved in.
Exactly. Yeah, I think was it Prince Philip said that he'd like to come back as a microbe to wipe out most of the population, or Prince Charles?
Prince Charles,
Come
Prince
back
Charles.
as a virus.
Yeah.
Come back as, yeah.
As a virus.
Yeah.
Go for Woke, WOKE. Children's book publisher promotes bisexuality, political activism, and at school. But it's not tackling the subject on its own. As Scholastic gears up for back-to-school presentation with its book fairs, the publisher is teaming up with a nonprofit coalition that promotes diverse books. The official catalog of the year's Scholastic book fair cycle shows the publisher is taking a hard turn toward literature that highlights issues of sexual identity, intersectionality, and social justice. It was first documented by the Federalist. For example, instead of introducing children to Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, Scholastic promotes the book Star-Crossed, a bisexual version of the play. It's centered around a female character who plays Romeo in a middle-class play and ends up falling in love with the also female Juliet. The catalog ponders referring to a middle school student, could she really be crushing on both boys and girls? Another scholastic promoted book features a girl who realized that her dad is secretly dating her mom's best friend, both of whom are divorced. This is what's going into schools.
Every school that I've ever taught in has a book fair, and it's by scholastic books only. And it's all about witchcraft, demons, like you say, it's everything un-American, or what this country, what this country was founded upon. And that's scholastic, yeah. It's in the schools.
Totally opposite of anything that we. Yeah.
And they come in there to make money, and boy, they sure do make it.
Scientists have invented a device that can quickly produce large numbers of living entities resembling very primitive human embryos. Researchers welcome the development, described Wednesday in the Journal of Nature as an important advance for studying the earliest stage of human embryonic development, but it has also raises questions about where to draw the line in manufacturing synthetic human life. Let that sink in. Other scientists have previously created synthetic embryos, which are also known as embryoids. These entities are made by coaxing human stem cells to form structures found in very early human embryos. The research has raised questions about how similar to complete embryos they could and should be allowed to become. Did you hear what I just said?
And you think those embryos are coming from aborted babies' fetuses?
Who knows?
I would say there are already some of them done, made humans.
2,246 fetal remains found on the property of an abortion doctor who recently died. This is in Indiana. About 3:30 p.m., the Will County, Indiana coroner's office received a call from an attorney representing the family doctor, Dr. Ulrich Koffler, who died on September 3rd, stating that while going through the doctor's personal property, they found what appeared to be fetal remains, the Will County Sheriff's Office said. Officials responded to an address in an unincorporated Will County, were directed to an area of the property where they found 2,246 medically preserved fetal remains, the Sheriff's Office said. There's the guy who did it.
Dr. Doom.
Illinois hospital has created a comfort room for aborted babies to die in.
Oh,
I'm sure it means a lot to the baby.
Jill Stanek told a hearing of the Board of Life Act in Washington D.C. that doctors at Christ Hospital
Oh my.
in Oakland perform live abortions where the baby is allowed to die during or after the abortion procedure. The hospital provides comfort care for the babies for hours at the procedure by wrapping the infant in a blanket, keeping it warm until it dies. Parents of the baby are also allowed to hold it during this time. While it's dying.
You killed it.
It's laying in the arms dying and no one gives a
and the mothers are holding that baby, allowing it to die,
Yes.
denying it nutrition.
Yep. If the staff did not have the time or desire to hold the baby, she was taken to the Christ Hospital's comfort room, which was complete with the first photo machine of parents wanting a professional picture of the aborted baby, baptismal supplies, gowns and certificates, foot printing equipment, and baby bracelets for Mentos and a rock.
That is
What would you do all
evil.
that for if you were doing
That is beyond evil.
That makes me mad.
That's evil and proud of it.
Yes.
Murder.
They're flaunting it.
New sexual fetish. Couples getting pregnant and having multiple abortions.
What's that mean?
I'll tell you. A new sexual fetish has emerged where couples repeatedly get pregnant then have multiple abortions. Every day we stray further from God's light. In a Reddit post entitled Question Regarding Abortion and Breeding Fetish, one user reveals how she has a female friend who has a really powerful fetish for breeding and never used birth control. She is with her male partner, currently just like her, new breeding, and they have been practicing their fetish for quite a few abortions. In the past 10 years, our relationship, we have done 7 abortions, and my girlfriend is pregnant again with a little girl. They get pregnant on purpose and kill the baby.
In working with people who have
It's
been
like
involved
that's
in the
an
demonic
addict.
kingdom, a lot of girls or women in the cults or these covens will get pregnant, give birth because they're called, they use the babies for human sacrifices.
Oh yeah.
This isn't any different.
No, it's not. It isn't any different. Same thing. And I don't know why aren't churches addressing this? Why is this not taught in every church Sabbath or Sunday morning? Why don't they teach this?
Because their church would be like this and there wouldn't be no one there.
Yeah.
And they're losing money.
San Diego, now, we told you it's going to happen. I told you, and I don't mind telling you I told you. San Diego State University normalized pedophilia as a sexual orientation. Did I say it's going to happen?
Yeah.
San Diego State University is teaching students that pedophilia could just merely be considered, merely be considered to be an alternative to sexual orientation. An actual topic we discussed in class today is State University after watching an 8-minute Vice News video showcasing self-identified pedophiles. This is going to be mainstream, tweeted Alex Mazzera. It suggests that embracing pedophilia as an alternative sexual orientation could be part of the acceptance of diverse sexual identities. Did we not tell you this is going to happen?
Minorly attracted.
And I've got, God help me, I don't want to get angry, I'm trying to stay calm, but why don't pastors teach the church where this world is going? The battle is not inside those walls, it's out there. Teach them what's happening so they go out and go to war.
They're afraid of it.
Phil, it's all right to get angry?
Yeah. Righteous anger.
Duke Student Senate denies Christian org recognition over traditional beliefs. Duke University Student Government Senate blocked the Christian group from being officially recognized after learning about a policy which prohibits LGBT individuals from holding leadership positions. Now let me explain this. This group said they're welcome to come, but they can't be leaders in the group.
Right.
We're Christian.
Right.
So they banned them.
That's discrimination, they're in trouble.
An Ohio Baptist church this summer called a transgender pastor to lead this church, making it one of the few Baptist congregations in the United States to be led by a minister who has a gender identity different from the birth gender. Peace Community Church called Erica Saunders, a graduate of Wake Forest University School of Divinity, and then held an official welcoming service this month for Saunders, according to Baptist News Global. The congregation was founded at the First Baptist Church of Orleans in July 1866, and is affiliated with the Baptist Preach Fellowship of North America, Association of Welcoming and Affirming Baptists, the Alliance of Baptist and American Baptist Churches of the Rochester, Genesee region. The Pastoral Church Committee reviewed 16 candidates and narrowed down to 2, Baptist News Global reported. Both candidates were very strong candidates, but Erica stood out as a candidate with unique strengths. Now remember, this was a man who's now a woman. The search team said in a letter, bright, compassionate, faith-filled, and spirit-led with a loving presence. Now, yeah, he's spirit-fed, all right. She is. He is. And she showed as much interest in each of us as we did in her. At the end of our time together on Sunday, when we formed a circle and said a departing prayer, I think we felt that she felt a sense of calling to our church.
Oh,
I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. Let's go to Deuteronomy very quickly. We've got about 5 minutes. Deuteronomy 28. Y'all know what that verse talks about.
28.
Yeah, that's not the verse I'm going to read, but it's part of it. I moved Deuteronomy in my books. I'm trying to find it. Okay. Verse 60 says, moreover, he will bring upon thee all the disease of Egypt, that's the disease of the world, which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Now pay attention. And every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, then will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. Even disease that don't even know of, they're going to bring upon you. Is a dark age of disease the new American plague threat? Diseases are re-emerging in some parts of America, including Los Angeles County, that we haven't commonly seen since the Middle Ages. One of these is typhus, a disease carried by fleas that feed on rats, which in turn feed on garbage and sewage that is prominent in people-packed typhus zones. Although typhus can be treated with antibiotics, the challenge to identify and treat the disease is resistant, hard to access populations such as the homeless or the extremely poor in developing countries. I also believe that homeless areas are at risk of re-emergence of another deadly agent disease, leprosy, also known as Hansen disease. Leprosy involves a microbacteria, tuberculosis, and another microbacteria. It's very difficult to transmit and very easy to treat with a cocktail of 3 antibiotics. They can't get them covered. God said in Deuteronomy 28, I just read to you, that He'll smite the diseases of the world and more than we know of. Now you heard about the triple D thing, the mosquitoes are biting people up in the northern states and are dying from that. Heard about the little girl died with swimming in a pool in a a pond, a river somewhere down south and got a brain-infected disease, either brain out. Did y'all see that?
Getting, flushing diseases too.
Oh,
from water.
absolutely. Did he not tell us he would do that?
Yep.
Now tell me something. Why don't the pastors point this out and say, look what God is doing to a nation that's forgot him?
Because they're waiting on the rapture?
Just like Dick said, because they don't want to lose a congregation.
Now you see, well, we only have 8 people here this morning.
That's right, that's what I said.
Folks, we're going to take a break. Back here in field in 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, a little over, just slightly.
Okay, we're back here in about 10, 15 minutes. Phil's going to share something with us. It's very important. You don't want to miss it. And we'll take a phone call next hour. As always, we do. The phone line's on the screen if you want to call and talk to us. Back in a little bit.